Hi, I'm Big Tom Allen, and welcome to the seventh and final annual live draft order release show. I'm here with the sheriff himself, Jack Kelly. How you doing, Coach?
Thanks for having me, Tom. I'd like to start off by saying that if you want to continue to manage a successful business, you can't just wait for it to go off the cliff. You have to manage yourself, and you have to do it in the right way. Otherwise, you're managing in crisis.
Okay. Well, I alluded to it at the top. Our final draft show. This will be the last year we have a random draft order. Radical new draft reform has brought in a new draft order starting next year where we will reward some of the teams that finish near the bottom to try to balance out the league. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I learned at an early age, Tom, that I would have to outwork everyone. I remember back in high school running around the track while I was playing football, and a really fast guy just blew right by me. So I figured I'll outlast him. If I work hard enough, I can beat him. And to this day, I always over-prepare.
Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. Segueing, over preparing, we have a lot of new money coming into the league this year.
Yes, we do.
Big new sponsorships. We're going to see the highest prize ever under your watch awarded to the winner. Do you feel like that changes the strategy at all in managing your team?
Well, Tom, I'm sure that our league managers are busy preparing their teams for the added scrutiny and the influx of prize money. I just have a feeling that certain teams are going to rise to the occasion when it comes down to clutch time. Really scrap it out. Cream always rises to the top.
Interesting. Very, very good points on that. Well, since we're getting into it here, let's jump right into our predictions for the season and look a little bit at what we expect from some of the teams in the Spank Bank this year.
Here we go.
We'll start off our previews with Swallow, some would say the Cadillac of the two divisions. Last year's champion, Revenge of the Teagle.
And this team has been dubbed most likely to regress to the mean.
Wow, that's got to sting for a team with so much money invested in their analytics department. Next up, we're going to look at Love It When You Call Me Big Papa, voted most likely to mortgage his future for a retiring wide receiver.
This particular owner really finds it in his heart to go after those aging guys, find a home for people who might not have one otherwise. It's admirable. And up next, we have the Washington Breadsticks, voted most likely to kill himself over draft position.
Well, it's hard to argue with that. We had a close call last year with the 11th pick, but able to talk him down. After that, we're looking at Tankadelphia, voted most likely to suffer a terrible statistical injustice.
Coach, it's a shame to think about what's happened to Tankadelphia over the years. You think about if the game were played on paper, they might have a couple titles, but it's not a game played on paper or on a computer screen. They play it on the gridiron. And up next, we have McGurr's McGurr, voted this year most likely to win the league.
Well, that one speaks for itself. Pretty hard to argue with. Shown a lot of talent in other leagues. Young, hungry. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't take home the crown this year. Next up, we're going to look at A Fart in the Breeze, which has been chosen most likely to hoard quarterbacks and kickers. Thoughts?
A controversial strategy to have four or more quarterbacks on the same roster, but it can really pay off when you're in last place and teams need quarterbacks.
Very good points, very good points. Next, we will look at Spit. Oftentimes, in the better division, we're starting to see it trend the other way, starting with last year.
Are we? We're going to lead off with last year's division champ, the Masturbation Station, voted most likely to draft an intellectual quarterback.
Well, we know that. The man's got a history. We're all aware of it. He loves those pocket passers, real prototypical guys in a pro-style offense. Only real high-character guys who just love to be in the gym, guys who just devour film. Next, we're looking at Dalton's Fire Brigade, which was chosen as most likely to fire his name designer.
Yeah, a real branding issue with this team lately. Went through several team names. Some argue that his last team name was a bit of a dumpster fire.
I see what you did there.
Following that, we have Dirty Rubens, voted most like Lee Tie.
That That's got to be a type. I think that's most likely to tie.
It says most likely tie.
Well, moving on. Next up, we're looking at Bell's Bottom Bitches, voted most likely to benefit from a terrible statistical injustice.
You know, Coach, you say terrible statistical injustice. I say finding ways to win. It's not always about the numbers. It's about who comes out on top at the end of the week. And we're going to lead into Drew Peacock's Liquid Heaven, voted most likely to be on the wrong end of an Eddie Lacy trade.
Well, a lot of people would say that last year's trade looks better by the day. Fat chance that happens again. You can easily bite off more than you can chew with this guy. Great Poop Disaster will be our final team, voted most likely to draft Jason Avant.
And honestly, I'd say this team's likely to draft any ex-Eagle. Mike Vick isn't even safe.
That he certainly is not. One. Joining us now, we have a special guest, the genius behind the beautiful artwork you've been seeing here all night, 2015 league participant, Mike Kinney. How you doing, Mike?
It's Scott.
Well, that's what I said.
Thrilled to be here, Tom.
So, Scott, tell us about the artistic process you went through in designing these logos.
Well, it really started with being really bored at work one day, and it just developed from there. After working on the logos a bit, I figured if I didn't step up and finish them, at some point we would all be sporting phallus monster logos, courtesy of our friend Mr. Poe.
Interesting, very interesting. Who do you see bringing home the Sacco this year? You're an expert. What do you think?
Now, I may take some heat for this, but I truly believe we see a surprise Sacco from the masturbation station in a championship hangover year. Not only is the station going to miss 4 games from its spiritual leader Tom Brady, but the station is relying heavily on some dangerously fragile keepers out there. Let's be honest, Rick's hubris has reached about the size of his head. I think despite having one of the best home field advantages in the league, we see the station in the last spot this year.
Well, Scott, that is quite the interesting choice. And speaking of the Sacco, you were not the Sacco winner last year. In fact, I hate to admit it, but you were the league champion. So without further ado, we'd like to go out to Scuttlepuff Stadium for the banner and ring ceremony.
Hold that thought, Mike. We've just been informed that the draft order is ready to go, so we are going to cut to that right now, and we will rejoin Teagle headquarters later, so long as our broadcast window allows.
Giggity.
All right, here we go. This is exciting. Coach, I'll let you do the honors. Go ahead.
Leading off with the 12th overall pick, we have Drew Peacock's Liquid Heaven.
Ouch. A real low blow. A sack tap for the Sacco. Worst to worst. 12th place, 12th pick. The good news for Drew Peacock fans is this won't be possible next year. So if history should repeat itself, he will not be picking 12th again. With the 11th pick, we have the Great Poop Disaster.
Talk about your disaster. I mean, that's just shitty. And while we're on the subject of shit, coming in at number 10, a fart in the breeze.
Well, the only good news here for Fart in the Breeze is that Drew Brees should be available with the 10th pick in the 3rd round if they choose not to keep him. So, you know, a little bit upside there for them. Picking 9th, our good friend Scott and his beloved Teagles.
Sad to see. I mean, the prophecy's coming true. The regression has indeed already started. With the 8th overall pick, we have the Masturbation Station.
It's a tough draw for the young kid. Continuing on the theme of possibly true predictions, we saw Scott call the Masturbation Station to be the Sacco this year. Not starting off in a very, very good position. Picking 7th will be Andy Dalton's Fire Brigade.
Ooh, DFB picking at number 7. Really a forgettable pick there. Kind of gets lost in the pack, kind of gets forgot about. Moving on to our 6th overall pick, we have McGurr's McGurr.
That's a good pick. That's a good starting place. Middle of the road every round. Never a long gap between picks. Not too high, not too low. He can hop in the Cadillac and drive this one to a title. The 5th pick is going to Tankadelphia.
That's statistically speaking a really strong place to draft from. Does make the superlative a little bit ominous, though, with the statistical injustice. Let's check out number 4 overall. We have the Dirty Rubens.
A good spot for a good team. You just have to hope they don't take another dog. Picking 3rd will be Bell's Bottom Bitches.
Oh, lucky number 3. They say good things come in threes. Could this be the spot that launches Triple B to their 3rd league title? The 2nd overall pick. Love it when you cow me.
Wait, who are we missing?
Hold on. Love it when you cow me, Big Papa, picking at 2nd.
Did I trade my 1st round pick? And picking 1st will be the Washington Breadsticks. How about that? What are your thoughts?
Oh, that really sticks in your craw there, huh? Breadsticks with the 1st overall pick.
Okay, well, there you have it, folks. Congrats to the Washington Breadsticks, and they must be excited. Congrats to the Washington Breadsticks. Apologies to Teagles fans. We've already run long. Our broadcast window is just about closed. We only have time for final thoughts from the coach.
I'd like to close on this. If I could have my tombstone say one thing when I die, I'd like it to read that I made my parents proud.
Wiser words were truly never said. Be sure to subscribe to the pod on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, whatever your medium is. Special thanks again to Blue Apron and Dollar Shave Club. Couldn't do without. Love those guys, and we will see you later.
For the 7th and final time, let the trades begin.